Hi, I'm Brittany. Welcome to my channel. I've been told sometimes in my comments here on my channel that I'm pretty good at explaining technical and difficult to understand topics. For instance, I've done tutorials on GIMP, which is an open source alternative to Photoshop. I've done tutorials on some graphic design concepts for artists, and I've seen a lot of comments that say, hey, you made this actually really easy to understand. So given that I'm a data analyst in my 9-to-5 day job, which still blows my mind how I accidentally fell into that, because does it look like I went to school for computer science? I had to teach myself is my point. I had to learn step by step from ground zero on my own. I learned it on the job, I learned it in my free time, and I feel like if I can learn it, there's no reason why you can't too. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through some SQL exercises that I would do if I had to learn this from the ground up. Now, I mentioned this website here, SQL-practice.com, in a previous video of mine where I talked about how I got my current job I'm sitting in today. If you want to watch that, I'll put a link in the top right of this video. You can check that out. But I mentioned this resource here because I said it helped me prep for my technical assessment during the interview process. And so what I plan to do for you guys is to go through this very casually. I don't want this to be overly edited. I want to keep my mistakes in, or like if I get tripped up or something, or if I don't know something, I want to keep that in and show you how I would get myself out of the problem. I'm gonna do it this way because I feel the best way sometimes to learn is to just be very hands-on and do it instead of just watching somebody talk about how to do it. Friendly reminder before we get started, if you find this educational, entertaining, you liked it, please feel free to give the video a like, a comment, or a subscribe if you want to stick around. That's just really helpful for my channel to get this video sent to other people who might find it helpful. Thank you in advance. First thing you absolutely need to know is the select command. You're going to start every sentence pretty much with select. So what are we looking at here? This says select asterisk from patients. What does that mean? As we get into this, as you learn more, you're going to need to start speaking the language in your head. And listen, you're not going to learn this in one night. You're going to have to practice and keep at it and keep practicing how to speak this weird language in your head. And it's going to feel weird at first, but it's just practice makes perfect, repetition, repetition. I had to start from 0 too. So when I look at this sentence, what this is telling me, how I read this in my head, is select, give me, asterisk, or you might hear star. That means all, everything. From is from, and whatever follows after from is the table you're trying to talk to. I forgot to present this to you, but on the left we're looking at a database called hospital, and within the database of hospital there are 4 different tables: patients, admissions, doctors, province, names. It's kind of meaningless right now because we haven't seen the data, but as we get into it you'll understand more. And when you start a job, you're going to have access to hundreds of tables with millions of records, with many nuances and tribal knowledge, and it's going to take some time to understand the tables and what they mean and how it all relates to each other. Any good company will help you through that and hold your hand a little bit till you're able to get your feet under you. Back to the topic, this in my head says give me everything from the patient's table. So if I click run, what this just gave me is everything from that patient's table. So this is what the patient's table looks like. We've got patient ID, first name, last name, blah, blah, blah. After the select statement, what you need to learn is how to filter on that a little bit more. So maybe I don't want everything from the table. Maybe I only want to see a bunch of first names and last names. You take away the star, because remember that star meant everything, all, everything. We don't want everything now. We just want first name, last name. Run. And here's what that looks like. Just the 2 columns you specified. Let's take it back to star. What does this mean? Give me everything from the patient's table. Run. There we go. What if we just want the city? Your boss comes to you and says, hey, I need to know all the cities that our customers live in. So let's select city. Did I say customers? I meant patients. I need to know all the cities our patients live in. So we're going to select city from patients. We don't need all this data, okay? Boss doesn't need all that, just the cities. Run. Okay, at initial glance it looks all right, but Hamilton's repeated twice, Toronto's repeated twice. My boss isn't going to want to filter through all that, right? Let's filter on this a little bit, and the nuance here is that technically speaking, we only want a unique list of cities, not every single city that is showing up in that table. If we do all again, let's keep in mind Hamilton is showing up twice here, and you're wondering why. Look at these 2 rows. It's because Gigi and Blair both live in Hamilton. That's why Hamilton showed up twice. So what do we do to get around this? There's a word we can put in this sentence called distinct. Distinct means unique. Give me a unique list of the cities. So what is this sentence saying? Give me unique cities from the patient's table. Here's a unique list, and we have, I don't know, that looks to be about 80 or so. That's a lot of cities. Hey, Brittany, can you put those in alphabetical order? Ugh, how do I do that? That's actually what happens sometimes in real life. You'll run a query that somebody asks you to, give them the results, and they go, what if it looks like this, though? What if you filter on this? And you're like, I don't know how to do that. So then you have to spend an hour Googling how to do it. And then they'll go, I don't think that's right. How do we alphabetize this column? We're going to enter a new line. You don't have to. You could keep it all in one line. But trust me, as your language gets longer and longer, you don't want to have to scroll left and right that far. So you'll just learn over time where you need to start a new line. And order by usually is the beginning of a new line. So we're going to order by city. Order by means alphabetically in ascending order. So let's read the sentence. Remember, we have to practice. We got to train the brain. Give me unique cities from the patient's table. Alphabetize it by the city name. Let's run. And there we go. Alphabetized. Now, if you wanted to do it the other way, alphabetize it backwards, you can put this descriptor in there. This stands for descending, and it'll just reverse it. So let's read the sentence. Give me unique cities from the patient's table. Alphabetize it in descending order by the city column. Huh? Oh, goes like that. I got something silly wrong. Don't beat yourself up if you make silly mistakes like that. Everybody does on the job, okay? You Google your way through it. You're going to be tired and mess up stupid things. I'm not used to talking this much. I don't have to talk at work that much, thank goodness. Boss comes to me and says, Brittany, I want to know the first and last names of patients who are male. Well, we have a gender column. That would definitely help. And we definitely have first and last name. Well, we know how to get the first and last name because we just type in those columns separated by a comma. So this is saying, give me the first name, the last name from the patient's table. But how do I filter? By only male. When you start to filter on results, you're going to need a where clause. This is the next lesson. Where. Where always starts on a new line too. It doesn't literally have to be on a new line. Like, you can do it like that. But like I said, you don't want a huge line. So it's standard practice. I should say it that way. Standard practice to start where on a new line. Where gender equal male. Why did I put the letter M in quotes? Because anything that's a string or like a text, letters, goes in quotes. Numbers don't need to. So let's translate this. Give me the first name and the last name from the patient's table where the gender is equal to male, and run. Now, you're looking at this and you're wondering, how can I be sure that those are only male customers? Well, if you need to be sure, just to check it, you can add that column. Gender. Give me the first name, the last name, and the gender from the patient's table where the gender is male. So that last column is verifying for me that these are all male customers. So I can take that away now, run it again, and that's my result for my boss. Brittany, can you alphabetize this by last name? Sure. Remember, how do we do this? Order by. Order by usually goes under where. Order by last name. So let's speak the language. I'm doing the Ross Unagi thing. Give me the first name and the last name from the patient's table, only for patients whose gender is male, and alphabetize it by their last name. There we go. Let's say the boss came back to me after I gave him that last result. Thanks for giving me all those male patients, but I only need to know the ones that live in Hamilton, the city of Hamilton. Okay, we can do that. So we got to put that last query back in. First name, last name from patients where gender is equal to male. And we had order by last name. Okay, so that's what we had before. We need to add one little filter. You might think, Brittany, you just told me filters are with where clauses. So I'm just going to add another where clause. So you might think it's where city equals Hamilton. Unfortunately, that's wrong. The reason that's wrong is because in one command, you can only have the word where once. That's not necessarily true, but for beginners, that's true. If you need to do more filters after that, you're going to use and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So let's read this. Give me the first name and the last name from the patient's table where the patient is a male, gender, and they live in Hamilton. And then alphabetize that by the last name. How do I know that's right? Remember, to verify, you can just add those columns in. Gender, city, run. So let's take a gander. Gender looks good. This is all male. City looks good. That's all Hamilton. Last name's alphabetized in order. There you go. All right, building on top of this, we need to move on to the OR operator. Let's say the boss comes up to us with a new question, and they say, hey, I need a list of first and last names of all our patients who have an allergy to peanuts or gluten. So we don't need every column, we know that for sure. Boss said just first and last name is fine. Give me first name and last name from the patient's table, and we need to do a filter where allergies is equal to penicillin or allergies is equal to, oh, it wasn't penicillin, it was peanuts. Or gluten. You know, boss didn't say it, but they usually want they want it alphabetized by last name, so we'll just do that just in case. Give me the first name and the last name from that patient's table where their allergies are peanuts or their allergies are gluten, and alphabetize it by their last name. Run. Looks good initially, but we need to verify if that's true. So let's quickly just put allergies in our select statement, and we can take a gander and see that only peanuts and gluten is showing up. So that's the OR statement. Sometimes you need to know when something is not equal to something. Maybe we want to know all the patients who are not allergic to peanuts. We're close to that. We can tack this off. We don't care about gluten anymore. But how do we do not equal to peanuts? There is a funny thing you can type to do the opposite of an equal sign. It's these little, I don't know what those are called. Brackets? I don't know. Little pointy guys. Like that. Like a little diamond. And that means not equal. You sometimes can do the not operator. Is it like that? No. See, I never do it this way, so let's check. W3 Schools is a great resource that I go to if I'm unsure of anything. So I'm looking up documentation for the not operator. Where not, see, that language doesn't mean, oh. Okay, it says it has to be where not allergies. There we go. So you can do it like that. You can use the not operator. I don't like to do that because it doesn't read right in my head. The way I would read it like this in my head is a lot smoother. The way I read it is, give me the first name and the last name and allergies from the patient's table where allergies is not equal to peanuts, and then alphabetize it by the last name. That flows in my head well. If I do it this way, it doesn't flow in my head right. Give me the first and the last name and the allergies from the patient's table where not allergies equal to peanuts. It doesn't flow right. So I like doing it the other way, but you can also do it this way. Here's our patient's table in full again, and next I'm going to teach you how to deal with null values. Null values, like you can see in this allergies column here, some people may not have an allergy to something, and when you need a cell, i.e. a square, when you need a square in the table to be nothing, no data at all, that is considered null. Null just means nothing. So sometimes you want to filter for nulls. Like, let's say we need to get a list of all the patients who don't have any allergies. What would you do? Well, we already know a little bit of that, so we don't need all those columns, right? We need first name and we need last name from the patient's table. I know I'm going to filter on it a little bit, so let's put that where clause. Where allergies. Now, we can do is null, like that. Is null. Sometimes you can do it as one word like this. I'll just keep it separate for now. And we'll order by last name. So null is weird because you can't use the equal sign with null. It's not equal to anything, it's nothing. So you're saying it is null. It is nothing. It's not equal to nothing. It's not zero, if that makes sense. So let's read this language out. Give me the first name and the last name from the patient's table where allergies is null, i.e. allergies, they don't have any. And alphabetize it by the last name. Now, if we want to validate that this is correct, we'll just quickly add in that allergies column. And we can see it's only null. These are only the patients with no allergies. Now, the next thing I want to teach you is the limit clause. Limit always goes at the very end of your statement. Limit 100, or let's do limit 10, for example. This is pretty straightforward. This is just going to limit our results to only 10 rows. So let's run this and see what happens. We only get 10 rows. Brittany, why would you ever want that? Because sometimes you work for a company where they're really big and they have a lot of customers. And you might, as a newbie, say, select star from customers. Give me all the data from your customers table. And you're going to be sitting there wondering why it's taking forever. Well, you're telling this database to give you 10 million rows of data. That's going to take a while. Standard practice for me on the job is if I'm dealing with an unfamiliar table and I don't know how many rows are in it, if I don't want to crash anything, I do a limit clause. And I'll just do like 10 or 100 just to get a glimpse of what the table looks like. What happens if I do this? You're going to get an error. You'll slowly learn over time with SQL as you practice more. All of these statements, clauses, operators, they have to be in a specific order. And you'll learn that. You'll practice it and you'll learn it. The next thing I'm going to start going over are some functions. Functions in SQL do a little bit of math for you, if you will, to keep it simple. And the first two I'm going to talk about are the min function and the max function. It stands for minimum and maximum. And it's pretty self-explanatory. It can just quickly give you the minimum or maximum value in a column for you. So for example, let's say we want to see the minimum weight. Like maybe we need to keep an eye on people who are underweight. So we know we need the weight column for sure. But to do the function to find the minimum weight, we simply put min, open paren, close paren around what you want to find the minimum of. So let's read this in our head. This is saying, give me the minimum weight from the patient's table. And you should only get one value. So somebody weighs 1 pound, apparently. I'm curious about something. This is what I would do on the real job. I find that weight suspicious. I want to investigate this more. I'm going off tangent here, off lesson. But if you're just curious, what I would do to validate, is somebody really 1 pound? I would say, this is what I would do, I would do select all from patients where weight is equal to Okay, so I just did something called a subquery. If you're curious, what this is telling me is there are 3 people who weigh 1 pound. Now, given their birth date, I would think that's wrong. Or maybe that's 1 kilo. I don't know what a kilo is. I feel like that would be wrong too. This right here is that statement I just showed you a couple seconds ago. Select the minimum weight from patients. So what this is translating to in my head is, give me all columns, everything from the patients table where that person's weight is equal to 1. This right here we just determined is equal to 1. Now I just went a little off track there, but if you're curious, that's what I would have done in real life. Let's do the same for max. Well, first let's just run this right here. Let's read the sentence out. Give me the maximum weight from the patient's table. We get 142. So if we run everything now, let's read the sentence. Give me all columns, everything, from the patient's table where their weight is 142. This right here being 142. So this is saying only one person here weighs 142. Jerry. Good old Jerry. Now, to introduce you to something called the count statement, I'm gonna just talk through some thoughts I'm having while I look at this table. I'm looking at this allergies column, and I'm just curious, how many different types of allergies are in this column? It would take forever for me to scroll through here and try to determine that, right? There's 4,530 rows. let's just focus on that column for now. Let's just pull it in. Let's read the sentence. Give me the allergies column from the patient's table. Now, I don't want to scroll through here and tally and write on a paper every allergy. Take forever. So what am I going to do? We're going to select distinct. So we don't need to see every single row where all those allergies are repeated over and over. We just need to quickly see every type of allergy, i.e. every unique distinct allergy in here. So let's read this sentence out. Select the unique allergies from the patient's table. Let me order this real quick. I'm just curious. Now, if you didn't care about null, you didn't need that in there, what you would do in this case is you need to filter that out. And when you're thinking to yourself, you need to filter something out, what do? You need to do a where clause. Where allergies is not null. So let's read this statement. Give me all the unique allergies from the patient's table where their allergy is not null, where it's not nothing, and then alphabetize it by allergies. So you should just see this pink null disappear. All right, let's work this out live. I'm feeling dumb right now. Give me the allergies from patients where allergies... Oh, I went over this earlier. I'm just forgetting. Null is not something you can do equals on or not equals on. It's not anything to evaluate. It's nothing. Is null. Select allergies from patients where allergies, we need is not null. I forgot to do distinct. There we go. That looks better. So let's read this out. Give me the unique allergies from the patient's table where their allergy is not null, i.e. they do have an allergy of some sort, and then alphabetize it by allergies. And the natural question that comes after this is how many are there? I don't want to hand count these. So the way to count these is you're going to wrap a count function around your distinct allergies. And that looks like this. And sometimes I get tripped up about if distinct should be in the parentheses or outside. You can just Google that. You can Google literally the words SQL count distinct, and you'll see examples of how it should be written out if you get tripped up. So let's read this out. Give me a count of the unique allergies from the patient's table where their allergies is not empty, and then alphabetize it. And we get 63 unique allergies. So that's how many allergies, that's a lot of allergies. The last thing I want to introduce to you is something called the group by clause. This is like the last of the basics, in my opinion, you should know. To me, a natural question that might arise after this is which of these allergies are the most common? And the way I'm going to do this is basically I'm thinking in my head, I want a table that says the allergy name and how many people have it. Allergy, how many people have it. So peanuts, 62. Sesame, 15, etc., etc. How am I going to get that table? Well, I know I need 2 columns, right? I know I need that allergies column first. I know I need that. We need a count of the allergy again. So we need the allergy, and then we need a count of that allergy. Let's see what happens. Something strange. This is not what we expected. The reason why is because we don't have a group by clause. A group by clause aggregates and stratifies that table I was just describing based on whatever you tell it to group by with. So we're going to group by allergies. Let's read this out. Give me all the allergies and give me a count of those allergies from the patient's table. We only want to filter on people who do have allergies. We don't where it's not null. Let's alphabetize by allergies, and then let's group by allergies, i.e. let's stratify it by the allergies. Group. Syntax error. Oh, group. See, I messed that up. I'm glad you saw that. Group by has to go before order by. Remember I told you that this is just something you're going to have to learn over time? Even I mess it up still. This is interesting because, it looks very organized. It's alphabetized by allergies, but it doesn't quickly answer that question for me. Which is the most concerning allergy? Who has the most of one type of allergy? So we need to order by a different column now. We actually need to order by that second one, which is count of allergies. But we need to do it the other way. Descending. So penicillin is the #1 allergen in this patient's table, followed by codeine. That's a bummer. Sulfa, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, So that's how you would answer that question. Who has the most of what allergy? You would use the group by clause. So I think that is plenty of content for getting your feet wet into SQL. Very, very beginner topics. I think that's all you need to know for now. If this video does well, I might do a part 2 where I do some more exercises to show real life examples, or I might delve into more complicated topics. We'll have to see how the video does. So with that being said, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to like, comment, or subscribe wherever you can. And with that being said, I have a very scratchy throat right now. I'm not used to talking this much, so I'm gonna go take a break, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.